Hello, everyone. My name is Katie Hickens, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about myself and a little bit more about the intercultural development project that we all had to work on. My maiden name is Kachigaro. Yes, it's very long, and yes, it always got spelt wrong, but it makes for great passwords. My grandpa was actually originally from Russia when he actually immigrated over to the United States, where he met my grandmother. He was a very interesting character. He could speak three different languages: English, Russian, and German. Sadly, I was really young when he passed away, so didn't really get to know, more about his culture, which I've always intrigued about and always would love to hear more about. I was born October 1st in 1994 in Yankton, South Dakota. I attended Lincoln Elementary in Yankton and I graduated Yankton High School in 2013. I was on their competitive dance and gymnastics. Fun fact, my junior year we got first in one of our divisions in hip hop and that was pretty awesome. I have two sisters, Jessica and Taylor. Jessica just recently graduated pharmacy school at SDSU. She actually accepted a job as a pharmacist in Yankton, South Dakota, and she'll start this summer. My sister Taylor is a sophomore at USD, and she's not really sure what she wants to do. My little bro is Zach. He's currently a sophomore at Yankton High School. I kind of followed in my dad's footsteps to become an RN. He works at the Human Services in Yankton, South Dakota. And then my mom's a rad tech. I graduated Yankton High School in 2013 and then decided to stay in my hometown in Yankton to attend Mount Marty College, where I got my BSN and ended up graduating in 2017. I'm currently attending Clarkson to get my master's in family nurse practitioner. Ideally, I would love to work in the hospice environment. I am currently an ICU nurse and I see a lot of palliative care, and I don't know, it's just something that I've always kind of been interested in. I married my best friend on October 5th of last year in 2019. Yes, that's 4 days after my birthday, but I told him that he can't forget it because if he forgot that, then he'd forget my birthday, and I also get two separate gifts. We got married in a very, very, very pretty Catholic church. Had our reception at Holiday Inn downtown. It was in a ballroom and it kind of overlooked Sioux Falls, and it was absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, I had quite a bit of bridesmaids. These girls are very, very, very special to me. Obviously, that's why they're bridesmaids. Two of them are my sisters, and two of them are and my sister-in-laws. I had two friends, and then my maid of honor was actually my aunt, who is a family medicine doctor here in Sioux Falls. The second picture shows the first view that Trevor seen me in my dress. And then the last picture, one of our friends who's actually a professional photographer took it, and I'm actually absolutely in awe with it, with the beautiful sunset. I think it's absolutely beautiful. My husband and I had the opportunity to travel to Honolulu, Hawaii. We ended up staying on the island of Oahu for our honeymoon, and it was absolutely gorgeous. We were there for about 7 days. We were able to see the Pearl Harbor, Polynesian Cultural Center. We skydived, the Dole Plantation plant. We visited a macadamia nut farm. We snorkeled with sea turtles. It was absolutely beautiful, and I am so excited that we had the opportunity to go. Here you can see Trevor and I at Pearl Harbor. I thought Pearl Harbor was very interesting. In some of these pictures, you can actually still see that oil is actually leaking from the boat. So that's actually pretty interesting. And then um, that the middle picture is actually the monument over the ship. And then to the left of that, you can actually still see the ship. So it's a very, very interesting. And I'm so happy that we had the opportunity to go. We had the opportunity to see the USS Bowfin submarine. Here's just a couple pictures. This was pretty cool. They gave us an audio tour and told us a little bit more about each segment of the submarine. And it's, for it being looking so small, it had a lot of stuff in it. So it was very interesting. As you can see in that third picture, I'm standing next to some cots where people could sleep. The middle picture is actually where they would shoot out missiles. Here are some pictures of the USS Missouri. This is one of their battleships that they used to use in war, and this thing was just phenomenal. It was so big. They had so much stuff on it. Um, as you can see in that last picture, that's where they were to shoot off their missiles. In that first picture, it's me standing in front of it. I was kind of joking in that second picture. I'm like, you know what? This is going to be my fishing boat someday. But this was just crazy how big this was, and it was just absolutely incredible. We had the opportunity to skydive off the north shore of Oahu. As you can see here, some pictures of us. It was absolutely fun. It's nothing like I thought it would be. People, I think you just drop, but you actually just kind of float down, and it's very, very, very pretty. However, I got sick just from the motion, but you know what? It was worth it, and I checked it off my bucket list. So my husband and I actually had the opportunity to travel outside the United States in 2018 for the first time. And we actually went to two different countries. We went to Jamaica and we went to Mexico for my birthday. And then I also have a really good friend. Her birthday is October 3rd, so we went together. In that first picture, it's me drinking out of a pineapple. In that second picture, that was one of by far the coolest things I've ever done. It's called Dunn's River Falls. It's in Jamaica, and we actually were able to climb that. Very slippery, but totally worth it. And then that last picture, I had the opportunity to swim with dolphins. Those creatures are super cute and very, very intelligent. So that was super fun. And, hopefully that this COVID-19 stuff stops so we can keep traveling. My husband and I have two animals. We have a dog and a cat, and believe it or not, these two are best friends. My dog's name is Bandit. He's a Morkie. He's a Maltese Yorkie. And my kitty's name is Orion. Yes, after the constellation. He is a Forest Norwegian kitty, and he is absolutely sweet. I originally started as a CNA when I was going to college to become a nurse. I worked at a nursing home in Yankton, South Dakota called the Vera Sister James Care Center. Once I graduated in 2017 from nursing school, I started at Sanford in their ICU. I was able to switch over to a Vera just because I started working for a Vera and I just started to really miss a Vera. I worked in their ICU for about a year and a half. I just currently changed jobs about a couple months ago and became a float nurse. And I actually float between ICU, a surgical trauma unit, cardiopulmonary, and oncology transplant. I'm CCRN certified, ACLS, BLS, and TNC certified. My hobbies are included, but not limited to, I love to fish. My husband and I, especially being from Yankton, we like to go to the Missouri River to fish. I love to play my Nintendo Switch, which is not really good when I'm trying to study for my MSN. I love to boat, ski. Someday, it'd be awesome to be back into Yankton, especially, hopefully having a house on the river someday. I love to walk my dog, and he loves to go for walks too. I love football. I love sports. I am super bummed that everything right now is canceled. I am so ready for quarantine to be done. Anyways, I love the Minnesota Vikings. It's very difficult being a fan of the Minnesota. My favorite player is Stephon Diggs. Unfortunately, he's leaving next year. I also love the Nebraska Cornhuskers. We were able to go to a game a couple years ago, and then we were also able to go to a Vikings game about a year ago. So I hope that you like to learn more about me and enjoyed my PowerPoint. I am very excited to watch your guys' PowerPoints and learn more about you. I feel like this course has been very beneficial in the cultural diversity aspect of everything. I feel like it kind of has opened my eyes to the different cultures and why it's important to be culturally sound, especially as a future advanced practice nurse. My results were a bit shocking to me. My perceived and actual score were way off. So I thought I was a little bit more culturally sound than I actually was. However, this PowerPoint kind of opened my eyes, and these assignments have kind of opened my eyes to more cultures and why cultures do different things. I feel like to learn more about cultures, it would be helpful to do like a journal And every day you encounter a different culture, you can write about it, and what if there was a dispute between the cultures, you can talk about how we got over it, just to make yourself more aware. As stated in the previous slide, I was a little bit shocked about my results. I did notice that the group results showed us all at a minimalization stage, which means basically that we need to become more culturally competent, and most of us are think that we're more culturally competent than we actually are. I feel like just by doing research on different cultures and understanding why they do different things. In college, I actually had the opportunity to volunteer on Rosebud Reservation, and I had the opportunity to sit in a sweat lodge. And sweat lodges are supposed to purify and kind of relieve stress, and it did. It was wonderful. I wish that we had sweat lodges here in South Dakota. Some of my goals would be maybe to understand the Native American culture a little bit more, just because we see it so much here in South Dakota with the reservations being so close to us. Like I had mentioned earlier, I can do research. I can, participate in a sweat lodge, or participate, utilizing their sage. A lot of the Native Americans will sit there and explain to me about sage, but I think, actually sitting down and having a full blown conversation with one would help me to understand that a little bit more. I feel like one stressor in the hospital would be just one clinician being a little bit more culturally sound than the next. I use the example here of Jehovah Witness. I feel like it's super hard for us to understand why they're, refusing a life-saving blood transfusion, but to them, it's part of their culture, or the next patient, a clinician could respect their culture and let them pray or do whatever, and then the next clinician will be like, no, I need to move on to the next. So it's just that's definitely, I feel like, a stressor for patients in healthcare. Overall, I feel like this activity really was eye-opening, to the many different cultures. I read in the book that, if you don't respect one's culture, they might not respect you as much, or might not, want to listen to you as much. So I think the more culturally sound you become, the better. So I think that this assignment definitely helped and was eye-opening, and will definitely utilize this as a future nurse practitioner.